Beautiful souls, welcome. I hope you guys are having an amazing, amazing day. It is so wonderful to be here with you guys. Happy New Year. This is the first Self-Love Sunday of the year. And we have a lot to do this year, guys. So I'm really excited to share with you. I just finished a lecture on Portal to Ascension. Hold on, just a second. There's a little bit of delay there. Yeah, I just finished a presentation on Portal to Ascension. It was really fun. I'm sure there'll be a replay you guys can access if you were not able to join us for that. But anyway, let's get started. You and I have a lot to talk about today. This is going to be a very important year. This is the initiation into a new state of being, a new human state. So we're going to be learning how to prepare ourselves to embody the fullness of our multidimensionality. And so, as you know, Self-Love Sundays, for those of you that are new, we focus on the cultivation of self-love. What is self-love? Self-love is not a feeling. Self-love is not doing nice things for you or taking care of yourself. Self-love is an entire biological, biostructural, energetic, bioelectrical form that your body takes. And we create this form, which is the embodiment of self-love, as a result of the cultivation and mastery over our emotions, the understanding of how to cultivate our intuition, and the application of that into our creation. So that means intentional co-creation. All of that I just said is what self-love is. So how do we apply that and how do we become self-loving beings? Is that what we are creating in this reality based on what we're feeling, our emotions, is super intentional, and it's aligned with harmony. Harmony internally, harmony with ourselves and others, and harmony with the collective whole. So we are learning how to expand and broaden our range of creation and what we are affecting with the cultivation of ourselves. And we learn how to do that in little steps as we meditate every Sunday, doing some deep shadow work. And so, yeah, so this year we're going to be focusing on deeper levels of healing, of integration. And we're also going to be working on cultivation of the intuition. That means we're going to do, I actually published an event that I'd love to share with you guys. I'm decided to do a energy healing clinic. Okay, what is that? Many of you know that I'm psychic. I don't like saying it that way. For some reason, it doesn't feel right to say it that way. But my intuitive vision, because I don't think it's special, that's why I don't say it that way. Every single human is psychic. Every single human has abilities. You just need to cultivate yours. And so I use my abilities to help see your multidimensional body. And to read your energy body to see where you are holding stagnant emotions, and then what those emotions are, what are the blockages and memories connected to those emotions. That's what I can read and pick up in your body. That's what I do in DNA reprogramming, and that's what I do in hypnotherapy. So this ability helps me to help you confirm what you are seeing and feeling in your multidimensional body. Okay, so a lot of people come to me when they feel blocked in some way. And so when I help identify those blockages, we begin to work with the emotions that are there. We follow the emotions down to the root of that emotion, unpack that memory, and begin to integrate the fractals of ourselves from those memories. It's super important to process integration in that way, because this is how we become whole. As we wake up consciousness, we activate the memory of these aspects of ourselves, and then that now becomes an extension of our knowledge base. It becomes an extension of our toolkit. Psychic, emotional, energetic, and physical, because a lot of the illnesses that we are experiencing in our body are a result of unresolved or neglected or suppressed or abandoned aspects of ourselves that usually are in childhood, when we are less, we don't remember, we block that memory out. Today, talking about children, I want to talk about the incredible energy that children have. And here's why. Before that, let me finish my thought and tell you about the Energy Healing Clinic. Let me share my screen with you. I'm going to be hosting energy healing clinics. What is an energy healing clinic? Wednesday, January 22nd. We're going to be scanning the energetic body, and we're going to be looking and identifying the blockages that we have in the body. This is really fantastic for those of you that are already existing clients because you are already aware of how to run energy. I teach how to run energy. I teach how to move energy through the body in order to clear these blockages. But for those of you that are new, this is also great because you're learning how to access those blockages, okay? So when I read your body, scan your body, and identify what blockage you're holding, we're gonna run energy to remove that, and we'll do it together. The whole purpose of this clinic is that you experience profound release and alleviate stagnation in your body. When we move blockages energetically in the body, it helps us heal faster if we have some kind of if we have some kind of illness. And it helps us regenerate at the cellular level all of the blockages that we are holding in the body. So this is just something that a lot of people have asked me for many years, but I've kind of not been wanting to do it because I want you to learn how to do it, not just depend on me. And in this clinic, I'm going to be very proactive about teaching you to do it yourself. So be mindful of that because some people just want information, but they don't want necessarily to do any additional work. And that's not how I work. So please do understand that. Another thing is that I'm going to be hosting an initiation for period 9, which is the era that we're now going into at the end of this month. If you would like to join me for that event, you can register. I'm going to put the links below. But essentially, we're going to be doing a deep hypnosis, a group hypnosis to work with period 9. And this is very important because we're going to get very clear about what our intentions are during this era, how we need to heal, what kind of ancestral blockages do we specifically need to heal in order to move forward, okay, in this new period. So we're going to be revisiting some of those old programs and working with that information, okay? All right, so let me stop right there. And so I was at the store the other day, and I actually saw this child that when I walked into the store, the child was jumping around with so much energy. It was just amazing, like a little bouncing ball. The child and the mom moved around the whole store. Okay. And to the moment she was checking out and leaving the store, the child had not stopped jumping around. It was just unbelievable. And I thought for a moment, my God, the amount of power and energy that these children have are so amazing. How do they have so much power? Is it the fact that they are children? Or, is it the fact that they're young? Does it have to do with age? Or does it have to do with the way that they hold their energy? Multidimensionally, what this child looked like was a very bright beam of white, orange light, okay? Which is interesting. Orange is the color of our sacral chakra. It's pure creative energy. It's creation energy. It's sexual energy, but in the child, it's creative energy, right? So it was interesting to see how the energy body of this child was because it was white. It was very white. It was brighter than other humans. When I see other humans, usually older humans have a very small energy field and it's very dim and it's very interrupted. It's interrupted, their whole body. It's not like a full field. Unless it's somebody that meditates, then their body usually a little more wider. You can see the expansion of their light. Sometimes they have violet colors or, different frequency colors based on what they're feeling. But the body tells you everything. The energetic body tells you everything. Looking at that child, looking at how wide the source cord was on the child, this is why I questioned, is it because they're young or how they're holding energy? And later, going deeper into meditation with this, what I discovered and what I'm also seeing in that child, it has everything to do with the way that they are holding their energy, the way they are processing life force through their body. It has nothing to do with age. It doesn't have anything to do with age because we are self-regenerating systems. Every year, we have completely different bodies. That means that our liver has regenerated completely, our kidneys are regenerating completely, our skin has regenerated completely. We have grown hair, lost hair, everything in our physical body is regenerating. The more unhealthy you are, the more out of harmony you become, these systems of regeneration become more interrupted. They become slower, okay? However, that has to do, again, with how you are holding energy in your body. And I found that to be a very interesting realization because in reality, the way that our human body functions, I began to look at the comparison between the child and an adult person there at the store. The child had nothing, barely anything inside of their energetic body. No blockages. There were little tiny shadows, very translucent shadows in the chakra body. Like I specifically remember the root chakra having little tiny little cloud there in the root chakra. The heart chakra had little tiny little cloud in the front of the heart. And, I can tell you what that child's blockages are emotionally. But when you look at the adult, not only is their energy body so contracted, but the energy isn't moving. First of all, it's like the root vortex was sluggish and like barely moving. The solar plexus was like barely, like almost paralyzed. The heart was shrunk, contracted. Okay, their third eye was just completely contracted. So their light body was small. The source cord was very thin. It was like trickling energy into the body. So when I began to compare the adults in the room and I began to see the level of blocking in their energy body, how the energy is not moving, it became very apparent that the difference between the child and the adult is the way that the child holds their energy. What's the difference? The child says whatever they want to say, do whatever they want to do, express themselves openly, freely, without any limitation. There is no analytical mind blocking their actions, okay? Now, of course, as children, as we know, there are consequences to that behavior because the child has not yet learned, perhaps, the consequences of the pain or the suffering in their life that has limited those expressions. But one of the things in spirituality that's very interesting that I discovered is that the more high vibration I began to cultivate, the more intuition, the more connection, I actually, and the more I healed my trauma, the more I would come back to a state of pure innocence, a divine state of innocence, a divine state, a very childlike state of openness. It was a curiosity for life. And especially in 2017, when I went really deep into my work, I experienced sometimes feeling like it was perceived as immaturity, but it was just an innocence from not judging the external world as immediately as I was encountering the world. It was just observing with awe and allowing those experiences to move through. My energy system was huge. It was moving very fluidly. And the amount of energy that I had was incredible. I could do so much. When you start having more traumas, more problems, more stagnant, and you don't clean your energetic body constantly, you begin to limit your movement, mind, body, and your essence isn't moving through your body as well either. So this is extremely important because what we can learn from this child at the store that is bouncing around like a little bouncing rubber ball, that age in terms of the oxidation of our body is something that we come into when we come out of harmony with the natural, abundant resource of life force that is available through our body. Okay? And we spend a lot of time blocking that life force from entering into the body. With not being in the present moment, children are 100% purely in the present moment. And every weekend when I'm working with these kids, or every week in my sessions, actually mostly in my sessions, it's amazing to see how these children are deeply connected to the present moment. They do have thoughts, but they don't dwell on those thoughts. They gently connect to them. And when they learn how to do shadow work, they are able to alchemize those thoughts immediately. And what happens as a result, they become happier. They become more expressive, more creative, more communicative. All of the blockages that they had open up pretty quickly. So it's the same in adult working, but sometimes it takes longer to get there than it does for a child. In an example, in half an hour, I can alchemize something that happened to them. With an adult, sometimes it takes 1 hour to get to the root of the emotion, because we have years of suppressing, disconnecting, avoiding our emotions. We have years of cycling in stagnant cycles of emotion. Okay? So this is how we kind of block ourselves from that creative life force that is available to us. So here's what we need to do. We need to learn how to move life force through our body fluently. This is health. This is the system of regeneration. Mantak Chia talks about working with our primordial life force, right? And how it is the fountain of youth. And this is not just Mantak Chia. This is generations and generations of people that have exercised life force cultivation. When you move your primordial energy into the cycle of regenerating life force in your body, you can heal your body, regenerate your body, maintain young, and have a very heightened intuition, and you are projecting into your reality an incredible co-creative experience that is congruent and in aligned with your higher values. Okay, so this is something that we need to learn how to cultivate in the body. Remember that the color that the child had was white and orange. Orange is the color of your sacral chakra. It is your sexual energy. And as children, that child was probably 3, 4 years old, maybe 4 years old. But when you see the movement of the body, the solar plexus is so powerful. All of the energy in the solar plexus is moving the child to move around and allow to become animated. And this is extremely interesting because the child has its lower dantian. It's in the development of that lower dantian. When a child is born, this is important for you to understand, whether you're a parent or you're not a parent, because this is your development. The child develops its chakra body, its full chakra body till the age of 7. Okay, seven chakras, 7 years, the child every year fully developing those 7 layers of chakras. Okay, the first to develop is the heart chakra. The heart is the largest magnetic field in the body. Okay, so it essentially begins to develop this multidimensional body, and it begins to utilize that multidimensional body as a navigation system for its environment. It is fully open intuitively. The child is super intuitive. That's why children can see ghosts, they can see invisible things, they can see invisible friends. ETs, interdimensional beings, children are wide open because they have no blockages in their body. It's not only because they are specific star children or waves of certain children. Anatomically, biologically, psychologically, and etherically, our bodies are designed to be existing in the 0 point. When we exist in the 0 point, we have heightened intuition, period. And the proof is so much proof in every different field of study, brainwave study, Heart Math Institute, looking at the frequencies of the body, the bioelectrical field, scientifically in physics through the morphogenetic field, looking at how we spiritually manifest and create, how we regenerate and heal the body. I mean, there's so much proof. We don't, at least I know that because I'm in this information a lot, but you can see my field of work over the years. There is so much there for you to understand that when your physical body is in the 0 point and releasing, clearing the energetic blockages, it comes into its optimum function. The optimum function means life force is moving fluidly. Let's take a look at some slides to get clear about that. Let me just open it up. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It is such an honor to have you and to be here with you, everybody on Zoom. Thank you so much, my loves, for joining. iPhone 71 says, is there a replay because it's late on my side of the world? Oh, yes, there's a replay for this and also for the previous event, if you are referring to that. Thank you so much in the chat on YouTube for joining me. Let me go ahead and open up. And I will, please put your questions in capital letters. I will answer your questions. Don't worry, I see them and I will answer them. Please put them in capital letters so it's easy for me to catch them, okay? All right, so let's talk a little bit about this multidimensional body because this is really important, guys. Like, we need to understand this because we forget, right? And when we forget what we are, or when we disconnect from ourselves, everything that I'm talking about just seems like very foreign. But in reality, you know, your multidimensional body is essentially there's an architecture to it that is indisputable. Like, you don't really need to do much to hold the body in that way. So let me open this up so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so okay. The pathway of energy, as you know, is a toroidal field. Anytime that we in our physical body begin to block energy, what does that mean? The human has a thought form, okay? The thought form is based in the past. When thought forms are made in the present moment, there's a couple qualities to them that are different than those of the past. And here's what happens. In the present moment, you're engaged physically, energetically, and interdimensionally, okay? And you remember that your body, your multidimensional body, is absorbing everything from around you, okay? Everything around you is information that is affecting you. You are processing information through your skin. You're processing information through your energetic body. You normally, you're not aware of that, unfortunately, until you wake up consciousness and you remember yourself. But if you don't remember yourself, usually you're unconscious, your range of visibility is usually from your chest up to your head. So you're normally just up here. You're just looking at what's happening in front of you. In fact, your entire body is processing information, the back of your body, front of your body. And so this entire body that is processing information, you might only be aware of just this small portion of your awareness. But this body has a self-organizing system from lowest to highest, as you know. And the way that information enters into the body is based on frequency. If your primary chakra that's moving is the root chakra, then most of your resonance energy is going to be processing from the filter of the root chakra, which means that it's going to align you with external things, or your range of visibility is going to be limited by what you're perceiving from that filter. So that the saying, like, he was seeing red, when they talk about someone being very angry, he was so angry he was seeing red. Well, that's actually what's happening to us interdimensionally. We see red, or we see orange, or we see yellow. When you cultivate higher faculties, you begin to see purple or blues or greens. Okay, so every single color will depend. It's just the language of frequency. We don't need to apply specific meaning to it, because it just talks about a range of frequency and a filter of perception. Okay, so the human is like constantly oscillating, and everything that's inside of the body, essentially, that is causing these emotions in the body. Let's say he's seeing red. Everything that he sees inside the body here, all of the information that they're seeing, is creating this source of entry for this information. If inside the multidimensional body they have nothing but debris, it's going to block their field of perception. Okay, so we want to move that energy. The body cannot oscillate freely when it has so much debris. It just can't. Look at all this stuff that's here. Life force cannot move through there. Okay, it's blocked. It doesn't move. So children have this wide open. When you're in the present moment, you essentially, the moment you start judging what you're experiencing or observing in the present moment, that's the moment you start judgment, which is based on old thought forms, programs, and experiences, always, right? So old judgments, experience, program. You're just coming back and referring to this list of information. You haven't checked in with your intuitive body, what your body's picking up. You directly reverted to what you know. And that's part of our survival mechanism, right? Our survival mechanism is always going to go to the library of survival. Where are the past memories, experiences that are going to help me live through and make sure I don't die through this experience that's happening to me right now? And so we go back to those memories because we're in survival. What happens to the human that's not in survival, that is in the present moment? They pause before they go there. They go there too, but they pause. Oh, excuse me, wanting to sneeze. This pause is shown biologically and epigenetically in the body as well. Remember that when we are processing information epigenetically in the body, there is a little space between. Let me hold on. I'm going to try to find that for you to show you. See if I can. But there's a little space between the information before it transcribes into the DNA. And the information that is passed through this DNA writing process essentially has an opportunity for the human to decide what to do with that information before it's transcribed into the DNA into the language of DNA, and is stored into the epigenetic layer of information. In biology, they say they call it mind the gap, right? There's a little gap in between that. So essentially, we can choose what we want to affect us biologically, chemically, and genetically in the body, but we're not aware of this. And so what happens is that whatever happens externally, we react to it, but we don't realize the biological effect of reaction. The biological effect of reaction is going directly to past experience, directly going to survival mechanisms of experience. The problem with that is that we are not evolving past the repetitive experiences. And what happens in these past experiences, remember that your multidimensional body is filled with energy points. As I mentioned last week, if you were here last week, we talked about how energy points are collected based on vibrational frequency on a scale of time and space. There's an axis of time and space in your body. There's also feminine, masculine, right, left side of your body, front, back of your body. All of that is organizing frequencies in an organized manner from lowest to highest, and also in the nature of its dualistic nature. Okay, so the body is processing this information essentially, and that information that's being processed, every single thought form and experience that you have is being programmed in your field. Every trauma, what is trauma? Let's reiterate that again. Trauma is every time that you experience something and you go back to this little library and you can't find the proper information to help you deal with what's happening in that moment. That's a trauma. It is the experience of the unknown. As soon as we experience an unknown experience, we literally lose connection with all parts of ourselves. So the alchemist and the human that is operating at a higher vibrational state knows and has a very close relationship with the unknown. They are able to process and regulate their organism and simultaneous to experiencing the unknown. The human that has very little mastery over their emotional self and their mind and self-knowledge, they cannot access that information. Okay, so this is where we start to really change in how we are experiencing things. How we can begin to learn how to process the unknown is to learn how to create a very strong, regulated system. We create a regulated system by learning how to regulate the nervous system and the emotional body. Okay, sorry, one moment. Distraction. I put on the Spanish captions at the bottom. I don't know how great they are, but yes, I will do this live in Spanish, not to worry. Okay, those of you that are asking. Okay, all right, so every single one of these little dots is the fragmentation that happens the moment you experience quote unquote trauma, this experience of the unknown. You experience the unknown, we become fractalized. Why? Because there's a disassociation. We don't have the source or resource of information for us to pull from, therefore there is a disconnect. There's a disconnect because we don't have any confirmation about whether our emotions, our actions are congruent with what's supposed to maintain us in survival. There's a disconnect. We don't know. It's an unknown situation. So we don't know if what we feel, what we think, what we're doing is going to keep us alive. And that uncertainty translated into the nervous system causes a lot of conflict in the body. Okay, so this is where we create this drop of frequency. The moment that you create this disassociation, you drop in frequency. Even if you are at a low state already, you drop even lower because there's a disconnect. Every time that you disconnect from your body or your essence in some way, when I say essence, it just means you fall asleep. It doesn't mean you're separated from anything. You're never separated from anything. But when you disconnect from your awareness, you essentially are experiencing a disassociation, a fractalization. That fractalization is essentially eternalized in these energy points that are kept in your energy grid, in your multidimensional body. So these blockages over time, if you don't take a moment at the end of your day to review them, to go back to them and to kind of check in and see, okay, what happened to me today? I felt this, I didn't know what to do. Okay, so you observe for a moment yourself and you begin to broaden your perspective, because when you're in survival, remember, you go into flight, fight, or freeze. Psychologically, you cannot access any other aspects of yourself because you are in survival. So this is also where we look at DNA. Repeated moments of conflict like this, repeated moments of trauma, repeated moments of stress contract DNA from its full writing expression. It contracts DNA in a way that the DNA cannot express itself at its full potential, which means that your immune system goes down, which means that you're not able to access resources, energy resources, mental resources, physical resources in order to respond in these kinds of experiences. Yeah, so now the body does have an automated system of survival when it goes into extreme death experiences. For example, there's the example of the mother that, you know, the car rolled over the child and she ran over and lifted the car by herself and the child was removed from underneath the car, right? So those are automated systems that happened when we go into extreme levels of survival, okay? That survival mechanism is innate. It's part of our innate system. And that really speaks to our ability to transcend the limitations, our perceived physical limitations. That's another topic. We won't talk about that right now, but I just want to mention that for those of you that may question that when I discuss this, okay? Essentially, each one of these points that are here become a fractal of yourself. In the lower realms. So these are usually within the first 5 chakras of your body, 5, maximum 6. The 6th, 7th layers are more interdimensional elements of yourself, and they manage the mindscape. Okay, so what does that mean? These blockages that you have in your energetic body, they have like little threads that permeate into many dimensions simultaneously. Okay, that's fortunately too translucent, but I don't know if you can see that. So, and those of you that do healing, those of you that have done a lot of healing energy work with me or on your own, you might notice that when you have what you think are entities or attachments or blockages, they literally look like they have many threads connecting to different parts of your body. Emotions do. Prolonged emotions, repeated emotions in your body over time, over and over again. If you're repeating the same belief system that is caused by this fractalized aspect of yourself, you are strengthening the neural pathways, strengthening the energy pathways, neurologically in your brain and etherically in your multidimensional body. You are strengthening the pathways of those electrical emotional charges that are connecting and processing information from the chakras to the organs to these energy blockages in your body. Okay, so essentially they become really complex blockages in your body that, you know, over time, this is what we call a personality. What you're looking at right now is a personality, and we revere this as something so wonderful. We're like, oh, you're so unique. You have such a strong personality. So many things happening, you know, you do and say. But what we don't realize is that our personality is a product of survival. It's a survival mechanism for this construct. And when you look deeply into personalities, you're going to see a lot of positive traits and a lot of negative traits. But most of us, we don't move beyond that. We get so identified with the personality that it limits how we see ourselves. It limits our potential, what we think we can do. And this is the cause of a tremendous amount of suffering for people. Because when there's change, because the natural cycle of this universe is a cyclical form of constant evolution and change, your little dots are not moving along with that frequency, right? Your little fractal blockages that you have in your body, they're not moving along. In fact, they hinder your ability to move along in alignment with this ascension. So your frequency is limited by that. Your frequency essentially is oscillating at a range that is blocking your ability to move and blocking your ability to process source freely through your body, okay? A healthy human that is in the present moment, working in meditation, clearing their body constantly, basic energetic hygiene, has an open pathway of life force through their body, okay? So essentially the chakras are moving nicely. And remember, chakras are double-sided vortices that create the spheres of your body. Right here, these are all spheres of your chakras, okay? So the red one creates, this first sphere, this orange one creates second sphere, so on and so forth. Every single one of your chakras in your bodies is a sphere of perception. How you are moving, your life force will block, expand, or contract them. So a lot of people are very, they have the front of their chakra kind of active, but it's a double-sided. So the back, this is how the chakra should look normally. Both sides are open evenly and energy is moving through fluidly. But what normally happens is that the front is open and the back is just completely contracted. The back is just closed. This is all closed. It's not, or it's blocked, or it's moving. So this entire field becomes shrunken in the back here. Okay? So what happens when we have these contractions in the body is that our perception is limited. How can you possibly know truth? How can you possibly know what's in alignment with you? How can you possibly tune into clear intuition when you're blocked off from entire libraries of information? And we block that off because this is the unknown. We don't know this, or we haven't been there, or we don't want to be there. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to know it. We block ourselves off. So that level of disconnect from yourself is what keeps us in the shadows. And we think that we're avoiding our shadows. We think that we are, but in reality, we become our shadows. So that is what happens. And so remember, this universe it's like we are moving through the way that the universe moves. Oh, sorry. The way that this universe moves is we're moving through this spiral. The entire universe is moving at this spiral. All planetary, all the solar systems moving through this spiral. Psychologically, we are also ascending essentially in this way. Your human body, imagine your human body being this entire system here. Okay, you're made up of spheres, and you're interconnected to all the humans in this earth, and this earth is connected to the solar system. The solar system is connected to the universes. As we're moving through this cycle of ascension, every single one of these rings of this ascension cycle is oscillating at different frequencies following the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, so every sequence is at a higher octave of frequency movement. Right now, we are moving from the 13th to the 21st. Okay, this is what I see. This is the initiation into period 9. What does that mean? We will have access to 21 chakra bodies. We will have access to 21, I should say more people will have access in general. We always have access to all of this. If you're aligned with nature, if you're aligned with these systems, you already know all of this. This is not something new. For those that are asleep and completely disconnected and don't know, they're just going to have, their vision is going to broaden. They're not going to know why. They're not going to know why they're having more vivid dreams. They're not going to know why they're seeing more things. They're not going to know, why they are having interdimensional experiences, seeing more UFOs, things like that. And a mention about UFOs, most UFOs are terrestrial, okay? So interdimensional is like orb-like lights or more non-formed objects. And also telepathic interdimensional communication is interdimensional contact. It's different than terrestrial sightings of technology. We have a lot of advanced Earth technology that is going to be released pretty soon. Okay, so anyway, that's a separate topic. We want to learn how to align with information in a way that can help us survive, quote unquote, survive on a higher octave. When you begin to activate your higher faculties, your heart chakra, you expand your heart chakra, you allow your heart chakra to open in its full capacity, in your throat, your third eye, you are working with your upper dantian. Okay, well, it's the middle dantian. You're activating the access to your upper dantian. Remember that we have a lower, a middle, and an upper dantian. Dantian means energy cultivation centers. Each energy cultivation center is made up of 3, because the law of this universe is 3. The law of creation is 3. Each one of these centers is processing different ranges of frequencies. They call it principal energy, or I call it primordial life force, which is essentially your sexual energy. It's your creative energy. And the qing is processed by the root, the sacral, and the solar chakra. The chi is handled by your heart, your throat, your third eye. Heart, as you know, chi is the frequency of the earth. When we come into heart coherence, when we come into the Schumann resonance and alignment with the earth, the body can heal and regenerate because we're coming into chi. Chi is the most broadest range of life force that is abundantly available to us all around us all the time. You can breathe right now and you're bringing chi into your body. Your awareness of that relationship, of the ebb and flow of life force in your body, will depend on your level of consciousness, your level of awareness, right? And whether you're in the present moment or not. But you have that available to you. Your Shen is essentially your spiritual energy, which I don't like to use the word spiritual, but it's your interdimensional energy, your intuition, your higher faculties, your DNA of the earth, which is your ancestral lineage, starseed lineages, and your 8th chakra, which is your relationship with source, which is the gateway into your source energy. Your ability to anchor source through your body. So essentially, we're learning how to process and open these systems so that we can anchor more Shen into the body. When we do our meditations, we are bringing cosmic energy. What we know as cosmic energy, essentially, is essentially the universal, its source, to make it clear and simple. We are moving source in through our bodies. And we want to learn how to anchor source through our bodies because that's what we're made up of. We also learn how to work with earth energy because that's the mother earth energy. That's our mother. It's the Akashic realm. It's all of our memories in the bioelectrical system that are available to us through the morphogenetic field. So the integration of these three centers is what allows us to open. Children have these open. Sorry, I'm so thirsty. I've been talking all day. Children have all of these open, which is why they have immense amounts of energy. They have unlimited energy. They could be jumping up and down. And that's why they also take naps to regenerate that energy as well. When a child sleeps, it goes into the dream state and it goes naturally into that dream state. It doesn't need to work hard or have any special apps or monitor anything. It goes, leaves the body as it needs to travel into the higher brainwave states, into other dimensions. If we were to teach our children the navigation of this body, if we were to teach our children how to navigate lucid dreaming, can you imagine what the child would be capable of? Okay, so we're going to go into the meditation right now, but essentially, moral of this story today, open up and release the blockages in your energetic field in order to enhance your access to your life force, in order to rejuvenate. The fountain of youth is available to you at any times through your body. And as we learn how to practice regular energetic hygiene, simple things, you're using your imagination, because your imagination is your tool to your multidimensionality. We begin to remove and move this kind of energy out of your body. Okay, so your intuition becomes clear, which means your discernment becomes clear, which means that your energy you can heal your own body. There are many ways to heal your own body. Okay, there are many ways to regenerate, and right now we need to train telepathy, we need to train lucid dreaming, and we need to train remote viewing. These are going to be the basic tool pack of every human moving forward. So this is where our focus needs to be and what we're going to focus on this year. Okay, these are going to be basic tools, and I want to recommend. I've said it in the last live I just did, but I was just listening to telepathy tapes. I'm sure some of you have come across that by now. But telepathy tapes is a doctor that is researching autistic children and their ability to tune into telepathy. And it's something that I saw not only in autistic children, but also in the downloads and in my interdimensional contact. I was shown that autistic children are essentially operating in higher dimensional, multidimensional ranges. I can see that when I see them because they're constantly moving interdimensionally. Their field moves more than our fields. Their shape, their geometric shape changes more than ours. They have this fluidity with the way that they master their architecture. Okay, it's amazing. That's autistic children. So you might think that they can't operate certain things or do certain things, but they are extremely enhanced in other manners. So what she's helping us understand is the science and the psychology behind our natural telepathic abilities. Every human has telepathic abilities, but it's a matter of cultivating and directing our energy into this field of connection and opening our ability to communicate in that way. Okay, so we need to do that. And that's what we are here to do. So let's start with the meditation. And then I am going to go into your questions, guys. Go ahead and get really nice and comfortable. Go ahead and drop into your body, ground yourself down to the center of the earth. Go ahead and visualize your sphere around your body. Be aware, own your space. Your bubble should not have any openings. Go ahead and call back your energy from people, places, and things that you've interacted with, technologies. Call back your energy, bring your attention, all of your parts here in the present moment. Go ahead and ground yourself down to the center of the earth. You have a cord that connects your shoulders, your waist, your hips, your pelvic bone, all the way down to the center core of the planet. Breathing deeply. Begin to focus on your root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and shrink your root chakra down to the size of a dime. Into your sacral, shrink it down to the size of a dime. Your solar plexus, shrink it down to the size of a dime. Come fully into the present moment. Go ahead and expand your heart. Front and back, expanding your heart chakra. Expanding your throat. Expanding your third eye. Go and expand your crown. Your crown chakra should be the largest field around your body. And we're going to go deeper. Take a deep breath. You should be breathing deeply into the base of your spine the entire time. You should maintain your grounding. You should maintain your sphere around your body. We're going to pull green earth energy from the center of the earth in through the feet, the base of your feet, up your legs, into your solar plexus. Go ahead and absorb it, pull it up into the body. From source, go ahead and pull down a range of cosmic energy into the crown of the head, down the spine, combining with the earth energy, the center core. We're going to take 10% of that. You're going to send it back down to the center of the earth, cosmic and earth energy back to the center of the earth, through your body, through your perineum. Cosmic and earth energy up your spine and from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your bubble. Go ahead and clean up your entanglements, your unconscious connections to the earth, people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with you. Just call back your life force into your body. Cosmic and earth energy, you're going to pull it up your spine, the final 10%, and you're going to bring it into your body, into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of your body. Breathing deeply, absorbing that energy inside every cell of your body. Go ahead and let that energy run through your body. Go ahead and expand your awareness out into your field. We're going to start working with the root body, the first layer of your body. Go ahead and clear that layer of your body. All charges down to zero, negative infinite. Your sacral. If you don't know what that means, you can watch last week's video or 2 weeks ago video. Just focus on clearing your energetic body right now. Simple. Use and trust what you sense, what you know, what you feel. Don't be lazy. Be present. Be aware. Tune in to what's in your body. When you have a lot of heavy, resistant energy, it's hard for you to even want to tune into your energetic body. And we're kind of moving out of some really sluggish cosmic energy over the past 6 months. So be gentle with yourself, but also allow yourself to trust what you sense and feel. Go into your sacral. Go ahead and clear your sacral, your solar, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown. All charges down to zero, negative infinite. All the bodies clear out. You'll notice that it's easier to concentrate. It's easier to be present, to be more calm. It's because you are clearing the static of all that debris in your energetic field. So meditation can be as easy or as hard as you want it to be, as long as you understand what you're doing. Now that you're here, I want you to notice the emotion that you're feeling over the past 24 hours. Go ahead and allow yourself to be present with that emotion. Acknowledge the emotion that you felt. And go ahead and name out the emotions that start coming up. Go ahead and notice the strongest of your emotions. Be absolutely present with the strongest of those emotions. Go deep into the ones that you don't want to go into those emotions. Try not to resist. Come into as authentic of an awareness that you can. Go ahead and acknowledge the strongest emotion. And once again, you're going to be present with that emotion. You're going to observe that emotion. Notice how your body contracts when you feel that emotion. Notice what other emotions or insights arise. Do not identify or judge. Just try to get to the pure information as simply as possible. The root of what is being shown to you. As you identify the root emotion, it's also going to be the strongest root emotion that you feel. Just go ahead and take yourself back to the very first time that you experienced that emotion. As you see yourself in this memory, maintain your first three chakras closed, your top three open to allow you to regulate your emotional body while you're connecting to these memories. Sometimes these memories are strongly traumatic or emotional. This will allow you to just observe as a pure experience rather than get completely identified with the emotions, which get in the way of your understanding of the experience. Emotions are just information, and we're going to understand deeper this by observing. So as you see yourself, I want you to begin to acknowledge what emotion you felt in that moment. Tune in to your senses, tune into what you felt, what you knew. Trust, even if you don't remember a clear memory, whatever memories surround that experience that come up for you are part of this information. So pay attention to the emotions that come up. Once you identify what you are feeling, observe why you're feeling that way, not as a form of judgment, but in order to better understand what you're feeling. Go ahead and notice, what is it that you need from the other in order to no longer feel this way? The other will be whatever other person you're interacting with or whatever other person is triggering this emotion and feeling in you the most in that experience. And just go ahead and notice how strong that feels. Acknowledge what you need. You can also acknowledge why the other is unable to provide that for you without any judgment. And you can begin to see ancestrally how far back this program has been repeated in the ancestral lineage. how far back our society is repeating this program, this belief system, this emotional belief system that led these triggers to occur in this way. As you observe the generations and how deep this program goes in your bloodline, begin to observe what would we need in order to no longer exist in this way? What do we need in order to no longer repeat this pattern? What's needed? Take a look at them, take a look at their ancestry, take a look at yourself. What you're most likely discovering is that you yourself are repeating this exact same program in your own life. You yourself are repeating the exact same quote unquote abuse or traumatic trigger in your life now. Take a look at that. This realization is the one that usually alchemizes the trauma impact in your physical body, by the way. So it's a very healing, integrating process. As you begin to observe what you need in order to no longer repeat this program, you might notice that you are repeating it many times in your life. Maybe many memories of you repeating this, and the impact of those memories in your life might surprise you. So this is where you're beginning to wake up and understand your program. This same emotion, this same trigger is something that is mirrored in the world around us in many different ways. For example, if you discover a lack of trust, you might notice how that impact of lack of trust has in societies, culturally, spiritually, for humans, and what it leads humans to do in our society. The implications are pretty huge. These are very, very deep-rooted, subconscious core belief systems that drive our society into what it is today. And as you begin to identify these in yourself, you can begin to transmute them, change, and learn how to embody the opposite. So what would it look like, and what does it take to embody the opposite of what you are repeating now? Begin to identify that. What do you need from yourself towards yourself in order to embody that? Try not to focus on external things that you need. So, like, I need a better job, or I need to focus more on meditating. Focus internally. What do you need practically, emotionally, internally in order to achieve this? This is usually where people get most confused and lost, because what you're doing right now is you are creating the new human. You are breaking ancestral patterns that have never been broken or visited before. So it will feel foreign for most of you. Allow yourself to see what it looks like. What do you need from yourself? Try to go down to the most practical parts of yourself that might still rationalize and negotiate in order to get out of the embodiment of the new self. Just understand that these are just needs that need to be met and acknowledged by you, by your inner child. As you begin to identify and come back to love, I want you to embody this love and the many versions of love that you are recognizing that are needed in order to come back to yourself. Allow yourself to embody that love. Love has many forms, many expressions, many emotions. Allow yourself to embody that for a moment. And as you begin to see all the fractals of yourself from all your life that have repeated this program, go ahead and infuse them with this same love, with this understanding, whatever it is that you need, give it to these fractals of yourself. See them merging into one self in front of you. Go ahead and inhale deeply, taking it back into your body as you become one with this new self. Right now, you have alchemized many of the little dots in your field. You have expanded and transmuted the frequency knot that is there in those parts of you. And you've opened up pathways of life force in your body. Go ahead and focus on the root chakra. You're going to open the root chakra back up. Open the sacral, open the solar. You're going to close the heart chakra just a little. You're just going to shrink it a little bit. Shrink your throat, shrink your third eye. Your third eye should be the largest of all of them as they are in a parallel line down your spine. You're going to activate your crown. Go ahead and take a look at what color you have in your crown. You're going to shine your crown light on top of all of your karmic agreements, your experiential agreements that you've made in this life. Go ahead and shine your light on them and clear them out completely, eliminating those karmic contracts. Cut cords with all the people that you've worked with in this session, in your meditation of the past. Cut cords, inhale deeply, release, let go what does not belong to you. Clear your energetic field as you regulate your nervous system. Go ahead and activate your 9th, your 10th, your 11th, your 12th, your 13th, your 14th chakra, your 15th, your 16th, your 17th, 18th, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And above you is a powerful white light of source. As you connect up to source, go ahead and bring that source into your body, anchor it down through the perineum and into the center of the earth. As you take a nice deep breath, I want you to open your eyes. And with your eyes open, you're going to continue to see your grounding cord. You're going to continue to see your space. You're going to continue to see your connection to source. Okay, welcome back, and thank you so much. It was such an honor to hold space for you. I hope that you were able to alchemize something during this session. I want to thank you so much for joining me for this and also for the previous live, for those of you that joined. I'm going to try to answer a couple questions. I am a little bit limited on time now, but I will try to get to your questions. And whatever I don't answer today, I will answer next week. So please don't worry about that. Um, Smart Money Guy says, how can I heal with my children suffering from my divorce and they are angry and not talking to me? Yeah, so first of all, we need to do the internal work. Okay, so it always starts with the internal work, because just like you have those little pathways blocked in your energetic field, those are contractual agreements that are also blocking the network of connection, interconnectivity, because we are repeating a pattern, and that pattern creates a pathway of energy, and that means we're throwing back and forth the same energy back and forth at each other. So someone has to wake up consciousness and neutralize what we're throwing back at each other. Okay, and so that's part of your awareness. So first thing you're going to do is, in your meditation, you're going to clear your energetic space, and you're going to break the contracts that you have with your children. You're going to break them, dissolve them. So using your crown chakra, dissolve the contractual karmic agreements that you have. Clear it up. You're going to cut cords on their end, your end. You're going to connect those cords back to source, call back your life force, let go what needs to let go. Automatically, this is going to open up the energy. Usually when people do this, their kids call, or some person they were fighting with calls, or they remember them, or they think of them, or it gives an opportunity for fresh energy to come into the space. Okay. Secondly, you need to work on the higher level. So take a look at those agreements. What is it that caused the trigger between you? Work and take accountability and responsibility for your participation in the imbalanced exchange, and alchemize those traits that have caused those imbalanced exchanges within yourself. This is going to change your frequency, so that when you do open up the pathways energetically with them, it's not the same thing as before. And trust me, they will expect you to be the same way as before. They will expect that energy. So if you truly alchemize these belief systems to begin with, it's gonna be an uncomfortable first communication, uncomfortable first meeting, because you're gonna feel the pressure of the expectation to be seen or to be responding in the same way, and you're not gonna respond in that way. So this is very difficult for the ego. The ego has to break the patterns of the past. Whatever patterns they are, you need to come into as much honesty and authenticity to revisit them in order to heal yourself. Okay. And so that will allow you to open up the space in this work with them. Yeah, and then there's so much more I could say about that, but I'll leave it there, and then let me know how that works. The name of the doctor, I don't know her name, but her YouTube channel is called Telepathy Tapes, so check that out. Laurel Light says, why would I rather my son and his dad die than have them alive? Because it's more painful having my son around because of his difficult behavior. He's 9. Is this normal for a single mom? So, Laura, I think we're experiencing an overwhelm, and I think we need to address our unmet needs in this circumstance immediately. You need to acknowledge your unmet emotions. You need to sit with them, feel them fully, and understand what is being communicated to you. Your body needs something, and we're not meeting that need. So when that happens, we externalize, and we want to annihilate the source of that suffering. But the source of that suffering is never going to be external, ever. The source of suffering is always internal. So we need to identify in us where that source is. And essentially, we need to, the behavior, whatever behavior, remember that children, just the way we formulate personalities, these children are navigating survival mechanisms to the best of their ability based on the environment that was provided. Okay? That means our emotions, whether we came into truth or authenticity, whether we managed our anger, whether we managed our love, whether we expressed love or did not express love, whether we were nurturing or whether we provided a safe place psychologically, mentally, physically. All of these things are going to participate in how the child develops their emotional intelligence and how they're going to learn how to navigate truth and disassociation. So for a child that has difficult behavior, essentially, and that's not doubting you, I'm just saying it's difficult because that becomes difficult as a result of these things. We need to address those root things that were not met for the child, as a younger child, okay? And we need to speak to them directly. So as parents, we need to acknowledge what is the trigger that's being highlighted in the child, and then streamline into that trigger, address that trigger openly, even if it's super uncomfortable to talk about it. Because your child knows it very clearly. They know what you're suppressing, they know what you're hiding, they know what you're not saying, they know what you don't want to say, they know what you're trying to say. They know what you're hiding and trying to manipulate. So this is never good. And I know that in our society, we do that because culturally we've been trained that certain emotions are taboo, certain things are taboo, through religion, through culture. That's an inversion of nature, and it's an inversion of truth, because actually we need to teach our children to be okay with all the authenticity of the human range of experience. Carefully, of course, as they are maturing into their, from their younger years, but we need to be able to hold space for the discomforts of authenticity and truth. That's one of the most difficult things for us to do as adults, and it's something that children learn not to do. Okay, so we need to teach them again and show them that it's safe to be truthful in those experiences and acknowledge the difficult things, difficult truths. And that means that our relationship with truth has to change as well, because chances are we've spent a lot of time with our love, with our best way to show love and protection. We try to juggle truths sometimes, and that creates a lot of tension in our family systems. So carefully, consciously working with that communication, trying to address without having to go into deep dramas, just addressing the need of the child as immediate as possible, openly, usually will help regulate a little easier the communication. But I'm going to ask you to do the same thing that I asked Smart Money Guy, Charles, to do, because you need to work with those contractual agreements on a higher level, okay? And so obviously there's a lot of conflict there internally, okay? Lara Light says, I feel being human is disgusting and grotesque. Why would I want to be part of such a horrible world where horrible things are happening to children and animals? Life is a drag. I don't want to be here. So Laura, right now, your filter of perception is super specific, okay? And right now, in the next 3 months, and in the last 3 months, humanity is being forced to see that disgusting, grotesque aspects of humanity. Astrologically, energetically, in this cosmic moment, we are being asked to look at those things, because we need to learn how to regulate our nervous system and to understand how to find love despite all of that, how to alchemize our feelings and judgments against anything that we feel is foreign or lower. You are all of those things. We are disgusting, we are grotesque, we are beautiful, we are divine, we are precious. All of that is part of the human expression, and we need to mature into a maturity of understanding all of these facets of humanity: life, death, suffering, pain, killing. We need to be able to mature enough to hold space. If you blind yourself and want to shove those things away, we're never going to learn how to hold space for them. And in this universe, it's going to keep Hi guys. So my computer decided to restart all of a sudden. So I'm so sorry we got cut off there. I'm gonna try to see if I can go back into the live stream, but if not, we'll just end it there. I'm so sorry that happened. I have no idea. Oh my God, it says we're still live. Are we still live right now? No way. How did that happen? Hold on, guys. I think we're still live. Let me see. It says we're still live. Oh my God, we are live. Wow. Okay, guys, I don't know what happened there. Okay, I'm so glad we were able to reconnect again, guys. Okay. Thank you so much for your super chat, guys. Love you so much for that. I really appreciate it. It helps me so much keep this up. Okay, so we're back. As I was saying, beautiful Laura Light, please, you need to focus on deep gratitude. Whenever we start observing these deep, dark things of the world, we need to come back to deep gratitude. I want you to come into deep forgiveness for yourself, deep gratitude, and you're going to start little steps there. I'm grateful for this house, and you're going to allow yourself to dive deeply into that joy of gratitude. Take your focus there. You guys wanted to be alchemists in this world. We need to alchemize all of our lower belief systems into higher octave. And we're going to do that by coming into higher states of consciousness, especially when you are being dragged into the deep darkness states. That means you're coming into the less judgmental state. No more judgment. Neutral state, which you can interact with your environment. Take a look at the beautiful things around you. Anything, could be anything. Little flower. Okay, come into deep gratitude for everything that is around you. And this is where it will quickly dispel this illusion that we are separate, illusion of judgment, illusion of disgust that we experience, the hate and the rejection towards ourself. When we feel disgust for the world, we're feeling disgust for the natural parts of ourself as well. It's natural. It's natural for us to experience death. It's natural for us to experience life. And it requires a level of maturity, okay? Peter Carr, my beloved Peter Carr, thank you so much for that super chat. It means so much to me. Thank you. I really, thank you for your generosity. All right. So let's see. I live in London, UK, where there are not as many people around, but also old house on historic ground with old furniture. I feel drained quickly around this. How can I protect myself? Okay, Anine. So yes, your environments have energy, absolutely. Pay attention to what's happening. If there is an invitation for you to move from that place, listen to that. If there's a deep calling, like I need to move from here, listen to that and follow through, okay? Always listen to those deep driven intuitions that drive you to go places and do things, because there's always something for you, for your evolution and your growth. So it's not so much as protection, because right now we're already existing in protection. Right now we're in resonance with whatever is stuck in that matter, okay? So to protect yourself, you have to go beyond the energy that is in your environment. And that means that you have to come into harmony. So throw out the things that are causing this disconnect energetically, mercilessly. Just replace whatever needs to be replaced the best that you can, or refresh or regenerate, whatever you need to do. Move the energy, change the energy. Your living environment is an energy pathway. Okay, we are living on meridians on the earth, ley lines on the earth, and they also are communicating with our physical body and our environment. So my friend Kathleen Zemansky is hosting a New Year's event that teaches how to do feng shui for period 9. She's amazing. You need to go check her out because she works with your astrology and also helps you in your feng shui in your house to move things in a way that are more energetically harmonious to your energy needs. Okay. So I don't abide by that 100% because I believe that we master our creation. Okay. But it is when we are stuck in old places and maybe we can't move around or make too many changes financially, these are great tools to help us work with our energy. Okay. Another thing is work with your contractual agreements with the things in your home and also your relationship with attachment. Because when we often are very surrounded by old things, oftentimes we have problems with moving energy, giving and receiving, letting go and getting, money, sexuality, energy, exchange, relationships. These are all the same kind of energy. So take a look at those aspects and start working with the fluidity of that. Are we in ebb and flow or are we in constant stagnation? Okay. Our thoughts, Inga says, Geraldine, our thoughts are reflecting the situation, not creating it, right? Well, your subconscious programs and beliefs are creating. Your thoughts are reflecting. Yeah, your thoughts are reflecting, but your subconscious is what's creating. The more disconnected you are from the thoughts, the more your subconscious is kind of acting in your reality. So come into in congruently with your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions to create with free will. Geraldine, what is your perspective about bad events happening to those around us? For example, I don't believe in evil affecting me, but can they do things to those around us, pets like sickness? I am a firm believer that we create our reality. And just the other day, I was watching a documentary on this tribe in Africa that practices voodoo. What does the shaman, the voodoo priest, say? When you come into harmony with nature, nothing can affect you. The voodoo priest of this voodoo sect said this. Okay. So I thought that was so beautiful. And it brought me emotion because it was like, you see, the laws of the universe are always the same across the board. People that practice black magic, people that practice voodoos, cast spells, do all these. It's about intention. However, when the human is in alignment with harmony with nature, with their 0 point, nothing can affect you. It goes right through because you're just simply not in resonance. This is the law of the universe. So we need to program that into our essence, into ourself, into our understanding of physical experience. Thank you so much for all your questions, guys. Make sure you put them in capital letters so I can see them. Andrew and Gnomes Trucking Express. Hey, Andrew. He says, does every sequence have consequences? I'm guessing you mean like everything that we do. Yes, everything we do has a consequence. Every cause has an effect. Everything that we do has an effect. Absolutely. Please, could you speak about rave babies in 2027? Are they our autistic babies? Nearly future is going to be very different as Neptune brings all mutation here and will bring huge change for us. So yeah, so every child that is born is more multidimensional because of the way that we are structured in this universe. We are moving through this ascension cycle. So every new soul that is incarnating is operating at that new octave. Okay, which means they have access to higher bands of frequency, more intuitive abilities, so on and so forth. Okay, so the answer is yes. Mutation of DNA, multidimensionally, your DNA is becoming activated as you recover more memory, as the veil thins, as these higher dimensions are more accessible to us because of our ascension. in which we are in right now. So right now, the veils are super thin because we have access to more information. Our DNA is also activated. So we are recovering memory of our starseed lineages, we're recovering memory of interdimensional aspects of ourselves and our ancestral lineage. Diane LT says, why sometimes I feel pain when I circulate life force energy? Super, super interesting. Happened to me before because we have a lot of blocked thought forms in our energetic field. Okay. So when we run energy, the purpose is to move stagnant energy in the body. When we have a lot of stagnant energy, I want you to look at the back of your root, your sacral, your solar. How are those energy systems for you? Are they fluid and opening? Do you see them moving? Do they feel stuck? Can you not even see them? That will answer your question for you. So make yourself see them, make yourself work with your root, your sacral, and your solar. Move the energy there, clear out the blockages, and do some shadow work with some emotional programs that are going to come up from there. Okay. It's really important that you run energy every day. Also, are you spending time grounding in nature? Go into nature, bathe in nature to help move the energy of your body. Another great technique for you will be to do Qigong, because Qigong will really help you move energy in your body through your physical body, actually direct energy through your body. Okay, so there's the 8 brocades is a great Qigong practice routine that you can do on a daily basis. And trust me, that thing gets you in alignment right away. So try this, but always come back to the shadow work, okay? Because the shadow work is the root of that, of this kind of energy work. Why I felt only love, no other emotion came from this meditation. Wow, that's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, that's what you need. That is what you need, and that's really what all of us needs. Jeffrey says, developing my telepathy through my autistic son. Any idea where to start? My intuition tells me this is a link to healing for Clay and I. There's a lot of grief in the heart chakra. Wow, Jeffrey, oh my gosh, you need to listen to telepathy tapes. They talk all about it. And you need to develop your telepathy. So autistic children are super telepathic. I've had many clients in the past tell me about this. I also see it interdimensionally for many years. So I love that she's talking about this and that it's coming into the public eye. Yeah, you need to develop your telepathy, trust yourself. It's your intuition. Usually it's through your heart center. So clear out heart blockages to help you communicate better. Okay, and there's lots of like little training techniques that you can do, and I'm hoping to share some of that in this year. So thank you for that. Andrew, thank you so much from Spaced Out Radio for the super chat. Love you. Thank you. I hope you are super well. All right, my loves. Yep. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, here, Salacian Berlin says, hi, what do you think is the role of autistic children in this experience? Why did their soul choose to incarnate in that way? Do you see any disadvantages in being autistic spectrum? Not at all. Not at all. I mean, of course, we do have some autistic traits that hinder our physical interactions and our ability to do physical things, but the fact of the matter is that autistic children are example of the Christic state of interdimensional merging. These autistic children are operating multidimensionally. And so we are the ones that need to learn how to communicate. So as our human race becomes telepathic, our relationship with autistic people will change as well. And they are going to help us because they are already operating in that state. They're already communicating in that way. Their vibrational frequency is deeply connected, intermeshed with many dimensional layers, and they are able to process that information. We have all those exact same organic tools in our body. We have those faculties. So we just need to develop those and work with those. Yeah, so I think the role is to bridge. It's a bridge for us. It's again another beautiful expression of this multidimensional world that has allowed us to witness and experience multidimensionality and that communication. And you know, the only people that recognize that are really the parents of these kids that have these intimate relationships with them, and the teachers that work with these kids as well. So what a gift it is to have that confirmation of what we are. And they have many, I mean, when I was younger, I was fascinated with savants, right? Savants that have the abilities to tune in. Every single one of them says the same thing. I tap into the realm from which the information just comes to me, right? I don't need to do anything. I just tap into the realm. I have the numerical sequence. I have this mathematical abilities are all available in the realm. And in this autistic tape, the autistic children go to the hill or the mountain, or the gods speak to them, give them visions and information. Sometimes they're predicting visions, sometimes gives them information that they otherwise wouldn't have known. So again, more confirmation of our interdimensional realms. These are the access into the dimensional layers of our own self, okay? In the chat here, in the Zoom, Janice. Hi, what do you think might be the role of autistic children? Oh, it's the same question, Janice. Is that the same? A different person with the same question. That's amazing. Elaine, so needed this today. Crazy last 6 weeks. Amazing, whatever you deliver. Thank you so much, Elaine. What a pleasure to have you here. Autistic kids can be brilliant. Yes, my son has Down syndrome on 9 chromosomes. Is that the same as autistic kids? Down syndrome are also interdimensional, but unfortunately, sometimes they have less capacity to communicate. Yes, they are telepathic too, but it's a case-by-case situation, obviously. But what I have experienced by working with children with Down syndrome is that, again, they operate in another dimensional plane. It's a different frequency, kids with Down syndrome. These children, when they have these abilities, they're operating at different ranges of frequencies. Just like humans have range of rainbow colors that we can see, they have another range that they can access. So they can access different information. But yes, they are just as telepathic and have these communication abilities. Hi, Geraldine, thank you for all your wonderful information. I'm an engineer who works with a lot of other engineers, scientists. I would love a list of your favorite people that are researching spirituality and connecting in mainstream science. This is what I'll be doing in the future. That's amazing, Mish. I have many that I can share with you, absolutely. You can visit my website. I have a lot of the replays of events, have a lot of the books that I follow and researchers, okay? So I name them in these videos as well. So I hope that helps. Anyway, guys, I am talked out for the day. It was an amazing Sunday. We've been talking since 10 a.m. this morning. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I love you so much, and may this week be incredible, okay? Bye. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye, guys. Thank you for your super chats. Love you. Bye.